Awesome, guys. Alrighty, about to get started here just in a minute. Making sure we're all good. Hold on. There we go. Awesome. Hope today's going great, guys. Awesome. Double check and make sure everything is all right before we get started. Awesome, guys. Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to MTV TA, guys. My name is Trent Manager. I'm your guys' host today. Per usual, on my returning patrons, of course, welcome back. On my new patrons, of course, welcome. Glad to have you guys here. Has not been a very good day in the markets at all. Past couple weeks, we know that things have been struggling a bit. So we're going to shed some light on that just like we do every Tuesday, Thursday. I just bring information and news here for you guys and let you guys know not only personally what I'm, thinking and doing, of course, but, just what the technicals and the news say. We like to follow the money and not always just follow the talk. But I know it's been very turbulent and very volatile. I know it's kind of a split divide right now, really, with, we got a lot of great news and we got a lot of not so great news. It seemed to be a very 50-50 split. It seems that, Bulls and Bears are just really drawing the line, but definitely seems right now that the Bulls have lost control, which is not always a bad thing. We don't always see red as a bad thing. We see it as opportunity. But just first, to see some housekeeping out of the way, guys, just real quick. So for all those who did not see the video yesterday, just to keep update from my patrons and those who wanted to watch, I believe this is still up. All the videos I post for my patrons, they're free for like 24 to like 72 hours, and then I move them private. So it kind of just gives you, at least the newer people, kind of in-depth guide, and kind of they can see, what we do around here, without them, coming in here and just, spending $3 or whatever they want to spend, and, maybe they didn't get full value as they thought. So just real quick, just going to cover this up. We got newest video out here, DeFi full introduction. We talk about doing passive income with APY, yield farming. We go over pretty much it's a whole in-depth guide pretty much on DeFi. It's about 43 minutes long. So I got timestamps in there so you guys can bounce around and, go to a section that you want. But we talk about passive income in there, overall the structure of DeFi, how DeFi is going to disrupt, traditional finance, and, how, you can really utilize DeFi right now and really benefit that to, your edge. So for all those who want to watch that, definitely a good watch. I got some good reviews on it, so just from word of mouth and some other people who watch. So thank you guys for taking the time for that. And also just don't forget to check the Patreon, guys, and stay updated the best you can. We're still working on a new system that can get you guys news better and quicker, but just for right now, I think the Patreon is going to work out best for right now, which is just good. Let me make sure this logo isn't it looks like my logo is covering my face on live stream, but it could just be me, so I'm just gonna turn it off. But awesome, guys, thanks so much. Cover that up. But now, guys, we are just kind of jump into it. Really exactly. Yeah, we are gonna get into it. Oh, also just real quick, this was the PowerPoint that we went over. If you guys want this posted, let me know. This took like a couple hours to make. Just went over all the key details and such, but I will definitely add that if that's something that you guys want to review in depth and kind of just on your own time, 100%. So alright, guys, so let's talk about what's going on. So let's get the bad out of the way first. Let's talk about the bad. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what people are talking about, and let's see what the price action is reflecting, from the cryptocurrency markets, and let's see, who is to blame. There's always someone to blame, but sometimes there's really not. There's really not someone to blame. So what we've seen is that Paraguay joins the cryptocurrency exchange. They're Bitcoin to the moon status. I know we're tired of hearing that, but to be in more mature terms about what is going on is that El Salvador is now to make Bitcoin legal tender. So why is that a big deal, and why do people care? So the idea of legal tender is that it is not an asset class, it is not a commodity, it is now legal tender. So it is now competing for world reserve currency in that country. So not world reserve currency, but overall an alternate currency in that country. So that takes it for tax exemption, paying for taxes, food. So integration, everything about the dollar, and just how they usually, I'm not sure what they use in Uruguay and Paraguay, for the regular dollar. They might use US dollars, but this is replacing their head currency. So in other words, this is a pretty big deal. In my terms, this is the biggest deal we've had all year. To have a country do this, such as El Salvador, and then also have Paraguay follow not shortly behind that. You can see the laser eyes in their Twitter, that they're that's so heavily pushed in the BTC community. But why is this is such a big deal? For the fact that that we talked about this and people said this would never happen. A couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, or even such a long time ago, this was fantasy. This was absolute fantasy, and no one would have ever really thought anywhere in time that this would have ever became accessible. And and really to break that down for people who are living in first world countries, USA, Europe, a lot of these nicer more developed countries where you don't have to worry about running water, or your government having 3 different currencies, or really worrying about carrying around a barrel of cash to buy 1 piece of bread or 1 piece of chicken. We haven't experienced a lot of the issues here in the USA and other Europe. I don't know where you're watching, but we haven't experienced a lot of these issues that a lot of these underdeveloped countries have experienced. So that is also number 1 a blessing. So, and to also add on to that fact is that a lot of these countries didn't choose, to do the US dollar. It was forced upon them, like a lot of these smaller countries didn't have a say to say, hey, we don't want the US dollar as world reserve currency. It was just the best option, and that's what was pushed on them. So, why would you fight a better currency and, try to do your own, at the time when you didn't even have this as an option? Bitcoin wasn't necessarily an option, all the time. So a lot of these small countries were, a lot of these smaller places were pushed, on the idea of the world reserve currency, which would be the US dollar. So just taking the branch off and, taking this into their own hands and having, this benefit them 3 times better, it's completely life-changing, in their towns and, their overall areas is huge. I highly recommend, guys chime into the BTC conference. They have it all recorded. But the idea of, Bitcoin just being a store of value and, making you money is great, yeah, but in terms of what it does for others, not only just yourself in your own country, is huge. There are plenty of projects, that I can think about off the top of my head, that I could link if needed, to let you guys see that it's bigger than, it's bigger than greed. It really is. This is changing people's lives day out and day in. They're having a stable reserve currency detached from their government that they can utilize at any time and not having issues with deflationary or, have no control over their economic future, which is something that, this is here to stop and here to prove. We enjoy Bitcoin, we enjoy the cryptocurrencies, but we're ultimately here for the technology, at least for me. So, that's just my overall appeal about how Paraguay and El Salvador, are really bumping this up, and I think this is going to start a pretty good solid movement, across all smaller individual places as well, and continuing to spread kind of like wildfire, because this is a blessing in disguise. This is a blessing to them more than it is to us. To me and you, this may not seem like a big deal, but if you were living in El Salvador and Paraguay, this would be a huge deal to you. To now that you have financial freedom and sense of not having to rely on your government for, trusting that they're going to do the right thing, and we've seen that has failed time and time again. So overall, amazing news. I think it's some of the best news we've seen all year. Just from being in the BTC conference and the conferences I'm in today, we're going to go over, just in case you guys want to watch. I'm in a 3-day conference right now. I think I'm not talking on the 3rd day, but I'm running a catch-up group or a networking group over on at Ignite digital currency data seminar. So I'll link that at the end before we log off here, and you guys can get that. So definitely want to get that out there. More of an ethos kind of felt talk right there, but it's important, guys. It really is important. Try not to think too much about the greed aspect. Yeah, making money's cool, it's great, but it's not everything. It's really not, especially when you know that it's helping other people's lives 10 times more than yours. You just supporting the network, and either you're working in the field or you're not. This is bigger than us, truly, guys. So just wanted to kind of get that ethos out there and make you kind of feel that. So, we're gonna talk about Ethereum surpassing Bitcoin's technology. This has been talked about a ton, a lot. And Ethereum we've talked about how Ethereum's proposals and all the things that Ethereum have to offer compared to Bitcoin, with Bitcoin being kind of a one-show pony. There's not really like anything crazy. There's not active devs. There's not too many people working on Bitcoin in general. To make it, is. Let me think, I'm trying to get my words together. It is possible as Ethereum. I know that was a really bad word choice, but we've talked about, how this is possible and what Ethereum has to offer, and now how it's kind of branching off and doing its own thing. So with that being said, there are options, and it's not just Bitcoin that, keeps things together. Right now it does seem that, and it probably will for quite a bit, but ultimately we're here for the long-term game. This isn't a channel that we're here to short-term sell in and out. Like, I'll gladly give you guys my my strategy opinion about what I'm doing with my positions, just because I'm here for the technology. But we're gonna come back and cover this article before we log off today, just because we got some other important ones that I need to cover, because there's just a lot of split news. It's hard to come on here some days and because I feel I come on here and I contradict myself. I come on here and say good things, and then I go to the cons, and then they're bad things. But ultimately, you got to be your own independent thinker in this market. You can't follow every post and everything that people say, whether it be Elon, Trump, any of these guys that tweet and make a ruckus. You really got to stick to your own game plan and understand what you know, because ultimately, like, you're gonna underestimate yourself and think that you don't know enough. But when you know more than 90% of the people who are stepping foot into this pool. So that's just my view on it. And, I don't get flustered when news come out, and I don't get flustered when people are telling me, oh, you're going to lose all your money. And, we're here for the technology. And the minute you understand the technology, there's like a light bulb that kind of goes off in your head. And, once you understand, they said the decentralization and the hyperledger and everything that really makes up Bitcoin and what makes all of this possible, it really is mind blowing. And it really changes your whole view of how, we're going to navigate this direction and, keep moving forward, as a civilization. I'm gonna skip around a bit, guys. I didn't have these in any particular order, but we talked about just coming up a couple of days ago. Greg Abbott from Texas, state of Texas, blockchain is booming in the industry, and the Texas needs to be believed in. I just signed a law for Texas to create master plan for expanding blockchain technology in Texas. So before I play this clip, it's only 16 seconds. You guys know how we had talked about the Bitcoin Mining Council and how Elon Musk and Michael Saylor were, getting that together, and they were trying to push the hash rate out of China. So not all of BTC's transactions were going through, Chinese operators. And why this is a big deal is that we had talked about this kind of in a way, and this has been circulating also, is that we thought that the EV race, how we're working to get green cars, overall just trying to sustain more energy and just become a better civilization of, treating our planet right, is that this could not only help the EV race, but really set it off in a push. So when you have mining cartels, as we've talked about how we have these proof of work algorithms, we talk about this all the time, is how we're moving from proof of work to proof of stake. So for anyone who doesn't know, or for new, I know you guys who are here, my returning patrons, are sick of me hearing this, but I'm sorry, this is the time where repetitiveness is gonna be intimate. So proof of work systems, we use these GPU algorithms to solve these tough algorithms online. With the proof of work standpoint, GPUs have CUDA cores. These CUDA cores break down these algorithms, and when we get the algorithm check, it gives us a reward, which is Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency you are mining. So from there, then we go to proof of stake. Proof of stake are run by validators, so people who trust the network. So people who lock up their assets, so their Ethereum, their Bitcoin, their Chainlink, whatever it is, they lock it up in the protocols and the pools. They earn passive income on those protocols, and that's what pays them out for trusting the network and giving their hard-earned cash to further support the projects. And the reason why this is such a big deal is that we have these massive mining cartels, throughout the world, from China to the U.S. These big farms, guys. Like, I'm talking like huge sheds fulls, like Home Depot shed fulls of graphics cards and operators. And you guys know why the graphics cards have been so crazy, just because of these mining cartels and all these big groups. And what this is it's pushing the green narrative, for reusable energy. So your biggest issue with being a miner is you have to find the cleanest energy, so the most renewable, the cheapest, that's going to yield you the best return on your watts. So if you're using dirty power and you're not using it enough to withstand your mining career, you're going to be paying more in electricity than you are actually making in Bitcoin or Ethereum, whatever you're mining. So how this is going to play is that if it forces miners to seek out cheaper energy, so therefore going to the green race quicker, it's going to push that green catalyst a lot quicker. So you're going to see a lot of miners using 90% of renewable energy, 95, maybe even 100%, therefore pushing the EV race even hotter. When you have 2% of the US or 4% of the US and some of these, whatever these mining cartels make up, going green, and that incentive is pushed, it's always tough when you have bad news makes good news on the number charts look like trash, so you're gonna see a lot more bad news than you are good news. That's just how it is. The media always gets more hits on the thumbnails that have bad news. So instead of people die in car crash, only one survive, this headline is going to do a lot better. Only one survive, one survive a very near to death 0.1% car crash strike. It's just the way they word these and how they get them done. So I kind of just wanted to break that down here. We're going to play this clip real quick and
blockchain is a booming industry that Texas needs to be involved in. So I just signed a law creating a master plan for Texas to get involved in the blockchain industry.
So something short. I mean, he's probably had a writer do that for him. I know these guys don't know a ton, but it's the idea of just them getting their feet wet and pushing that catalyst, and really just getting people on board. Because honestly, guys, our biggest barrier to entry is education. Like, that really is. And I say that every time because it is. Because just for work, I see it every day. It's true. It's hard that it's not hard. It's just people sometimes either do not have enough time to understand this, but eventually I believe everyone will need to understand this. That is just my thinking behind this technology. This is something that everyone is going to have to learn. So you can be ahead of the front race or you can be behind the race. There's one or the other. There's always winners and losers. But you just like to see, especially a state as big as Texas, somewhat take this seriously and take it as a law. Whether it's for money, whether it's just for having shipping the green race, I guess it doesn't matter. Ultimately, as a whole, we just like to see people be educated in it. That's really all I truly ask. Is just if you're gonna talk about something, especially something you don't know about, be honest that you don't know about it. Don't hop on and talk about it and say something terrible that you don't know. Either you didn't even know was bad, or you just don't know in general. You're just slandering something you didn't even mean to talk about. So that's just my talk about it. I'm having a little bit of a rant day, but I think I'm dropping some good information. So I'm not getting too off topic. I'm pertaining to the talks that we have here. But I know we've had to talk about this Wyckoff accumulation phase, Wyckoff event phases. So this has been talked about throughout the community for a couple of weeks now. There was a guy, I'll have to remember his channel. He was like Unstoppable or something about his YouTube channel that he brought on this accumulation phase for this Wyckoff events and phases. And why this is so important is that when you think about a distribution phase, and if you believe that markets are being like really, really manipulated by like whales and institutions and like bigger players, for them to get their friends in and like really suppress the price and kind of just get their entries right, and which could be a very real thing. We've seen with the AMC GameStop saga that these big guys aren't really with us at all. It's true. You can't hold trading like that. That's very illegal. Regardless, if you're a hedge fund, you shouldn't be doing option positions or longs on any stock. As you guys may not know about the GameStop or AMC stock, or really what happened is that these hedge funds and these bigger players were longing these companies like AMC and GameStop till they went to zero since they were going out of business. But people on Reddit and other places realized, through volume influx, and you can see publicly, sometimes how these companies move. They came out and they started pumping the price, therefore getting their shorts liquidated. So all that means is that if you give a call of the opposite way, so you think we're going down 90%, but we go up 100%, you're losing a lot of money depending on how you balance your allocation of your equities. So this is still going on. A lot of these guys have really far expiration dates about how these are going to expire. So this is going to be going on quite a while, but it really is the little guys versus the big guys, and the big guys we're getting messed up. Of course, they can afford to lose a couple million, but due to that, they didn't like that at all, and they were very angry with us. So, but coming back to topic of the Wyckoff event is that people believe that this is, and BTC has followed this exact chart pin to pin. I'm gonna find the video and I'm gonna post that, and you guys can look that up. Just a Wyckoff distribution on YouTube or anywhere, you'll find his channel. There's not too many people that are like impersonating or like doing the same thing at all. Like the main guy is a guy who you can really proposes this theory, and I watched the video. I'll go back and find it, and I'll link it in the Discord or in the Patreon as well for you guys. But they think that the distribution phase and just the overall market cycles of where we're going right now, they think we're somewhere in here. Granted, we could be somewhere over here. We couldn't even be this far yet, but overall it's just price manipulation, suppression to get either average cost down, get more players in, and when you think about it, guys, what are institutions? Are institution adoptions going up or are they going down? They're going up. So regardless of price action, I know price is easy to look at, and it's easy to take the price and like reflect that on the project and say, oh, that's a bad project because it's not doing well. But then we don't talk about stocks and other commodities who have not performed well. Gold was in a downtrend for 6 to 8 months. Some stocks haven't even fully recovered from the pandemic. Granted, there are some, absolutely. If you put in the stock market March, you're probably doing all right. You're probably up amount, but in terms of really back to full strength, no, not even close. There are some stocks performing great. There are other ones that are not. There's some of we didn't even make it through. So in terms of, there's going to be volatility, and this is going to be part of the market cycle. So I know this is a lot of you guys' first rodeo. So, I'm not going to, grill or really like, I'm just here to really just stress the long-term game in terms. I'm personally just speaking from experience. That's just really what I do here. I do a lot of ethos here, and I do a lot of data and truth. You guys know that. That's why you guys stick around. So, I know it's a lot of you guys' first rodeo, and this is a great time. And if you're still here and you're still paying attention, you're still learning, you're going to be rewarded. And I'm speaking that from experience. I was there in March. I remember that. I was there in 2017. I remember that. It sucked. It really sucked. That was a different time. Absolutely. That was a much different time. But you learn from those times, and you move forward, and you figure out, what keeps you here. Sticking to your game plan is key. Switching your game plan mid-game, it usually doesn't work out very well. So, emotions are running high, and there may be some more hurt installed for where we think we are. It's very hard to see where we are. Technicals are not applying very well. It's hard to play out in the short term. Long term, we know we're good. It's cool. The long term game usually it gives you less stress. You don't worry about the short game because you're in here for the long term. So I say long term years now. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year. And depending where we're going, just give you guys more of a. And here's a Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Just in case you guys needed it. Very low. People are very fearful. People are very scared. So usually it's a pretty good time to do some brush up on some projects that you might want to grab at a good discount. Not financial advice, just throwing it out there. And of course, by the way, Ethereum got a new Fear and Greed Index. It's only on Twitter right now. It's not on the net just yet. So it's just on Twitter, which is okay. That's I'm really glad they added this for a number of reasons. So that not only just shows that Ethereum is decoupling from BTC, but also that it's starting to make its own avenue and starting to have enough attention to start governing itself. Because we talked about this too, is that I believe that eventually Ethereum will not be connected with Bitcoin. It will start its own really hard tear path and follow some of its DeFi blue chips and some other products that are built on top of Ethereum, and those will start performing at their own pace and their own availability. That's my opinion. We're not there just yet, but as we continue to move forward, as Ethereum continues to update and keep providing these things, we will be okay. Let me talk about some real good news that we have. Besides things going on, the Fed is our biggest promoter. So we had Mr. Donald Trump come out the other day and say this was his chat. Let's find his quote that he was talking about. So he says, "Bitcoin just seems like a scam," said Trump in the interview. "I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be currency of the world." So how is this a good thing, Trent? This dude literally just talk crap. Okay, well, what I saw, I didn't see that. He said, "I don't like it because it's competing against the dollar. It's another currency competing against the dollar." So Trump is not a dumb dude. He knows, he understands, and I think that's great that he said it that way, because all I saw is that you now officially think it's a currency. Remember a couple years ago when they said this wasn't even a legal tender, legal anything, even a commodity. This wasn't even considered legal, like in terms of taxable event. So there was a while where this wasn't even taxed. And it's funny when Uncle Sam comes around every year for tax year. Now these things are worthy and they're available for tax. So the government always wants their money. And Donald Trump has said that. He said, "Hey, it's another currency." So the Fed is our biggest promoter. No matter if it's bad news or good news, we know the longevity standpoint. And this is a channel, like I said, for long-term longevity. We're not here for short plays. We're not here for meme coins. We're not here for any of that. No. Because those meme coins and all that didn't get they will get you to where you want to be, but you need to remember that luck, you can only be lucky so many times. And I just approach that with caution, because sadly enough, I've had plenty of people in my DMs or in my messages telling me what they did wrong or why they're losing money, and sadly enough, I have to tell them, what are you grabbing? What are you investing in? Shiba Inu, Dogecoin, all these other ones. And I like the Dogecoin community. It's funny, it's hilarious, but in terms of these things lasting long term, guys, it's not going to work. It's just not. It's not going to work. The Fed will have to step in. The Fed will be stepping in here soon. Just like the ICOs will become obsolete. They will start cracking down a ton on those here soon, as they start unraveling their game plans and they start figuring out how they're going to navigate this space, because these guys aren't going away. They've already said that this is something they just have to adjust to and bend to, and time is on our side. So, and also, guys, if you guys definitely wanted to catch up on the Bitcoin conference, you can. They have all the live streams recorded, ins and outs, all 2 days, by the way. I watched Michael Saylor talk. There's Winklevoss twins on there. Some really good discussions on there. I thought that was super good for you guys to go back and look off. But CoinGecko as well. These are our current price actions right here. I know I was skipping around a lot today. I didn't have a dedicated schedule. This was more of a I told myself yesterday, I was like, I'm just gonna come on and really talk about what I'm feeling, how I need to project these, and wrapping up here since we really think like we covered mostly everything that we wanted to cover news-wise. Just double checking to make sure we are all good. Okay, cool. Definitely want to talk about how we're gonna navigate these next couple months to years. So realistically, Trent, what are you doing? I personally am holding. No worries. I'm not buying. I'm DCAing, dollar cost averaging. Like I've preached about and talked about. I practice what I preach. Absolutely. Dollar cost averaging. So there are some projects, particularly I still DCA Ethereum. Been DCA Bitcoin for well over a year now, a couple years now. $5 a week, $100 a week, $150 a week, whatever works for you. Does not matter, but DCAing is just a great way to start. You don't have to worry about time in the bottom, time in the top. It just works out, the best for you. It's an automatic. Your bank account does it all for you. Every Saturday for me, for example, I do $100 every Saturday, no matter what the price, whether it's high, whether it's low, whether it's stagnant in the middle. It doesn't matter because every single week you staying consistent, it's going to give you the best overall middle ground value. So, and you said of trying to sit there and time the top or time the bottom or, do all this, stressing yourself out. DCAing is just a great strategy. I'm just dropping out there because I do it. And tons of individuals are going to tell you the same thing. I promise you. Just getting that out of the way. But realistically, how we're still navigating, I'm looking at some projects I want to lower my cost on. Looking at Cardano being under $1.50, which is pretty crazy, granted, showing how great they held up during all this turbulence. They just started really falling. Looking at Cardano, of course, looking at some Ethereum to load up some more on that. Bitcoin, of course, want to keep dollar cost averaging on that. Uniswap, looking very, very good. Chainlink as well, big Chainlink fan. I will be, navigating that. Could probably throw a little bit in there and see how that goes. But overall, we're just evaluating. We're sitting here watching and see how things are going to play out. There may be some more hurt installed, which is okay. We've seen these before. I know most of you guys have not, but just I'm right here with you. So right in the pool with you, and not going anywhere. Still doing Tuesday, Thursday. This is not stopping just because we're down on price action. Work doesn't stop because price action is down. But there's some great things coming out, guys. We got our Bitcoin ETF still in the works. That will be proposed. We got a EIP 1559. We got tons of Ethereum updates and protocols and ZK rollups. We got the adoption of countries. People that are really putting this on legal tender. It's really a one day at a time. And no matter if you're having bad news, there's always a yin with a yang. There's always a yang with the yin. There's always the good to the bad. There's never always 100% bad with no glimpse of hope. It's never like that, and it's a big it's a big perspective thing. You guys really got to think about it. So I know that this market's been full of greed, lots of greed here, absolutely, and there's nothing wrong with that. Money's cool, money helps, but it makes your investments a lot easier when you understand what you're investing in, why it's gonna work for the long term, and how this is going to benefit you as a person. Because if you can't give three reasons why you own a project or why you own a stock, this goes across all boards. If you can't give 3 reasons or understand why you own it, it's probably not going to work out very well for you. And that's just, I'm just quoting that from truth. Like it's important to know, what you guys own. So those are some of my personal thoughts. DMs and questions are always open. Like and subscribe. I'm just here to help. That's really simply it. I'm never here to bash anybody or tell them that I'm a know-it-all, and you guys know that. I'm very, very just metrics and information and straight to the point. Yeah, you guys really know that. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. We're coming in about 30 minutes. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the top of the head that we wanted to cover. Today was kind of just more of a bounce around day. Still some great news. I'll be bringing videos this week. Just like we live stream Tuesday, Thursday, guys, but I'll make videos throughout the week if I find something important or if there's something I think I want to explain. Our next video, I think I'm going to go over since we did TeFi introduction. I know there was some questions and asking about some smaller projects about going over some of my top DeFi blue chips or some other projects that will still perform insanely well. Anything in the top 100, and I wouldn't say everything in the top 100 is great, but a lot of these top 100 projects are not bad. There are some really, really, really good projects that really could have some longevity if they continue to perform the way they're performing and continue the updates and keeping their network together. So that's definitely a video we can cover later this week. So I'll choose my top 5 or my top 6 or something like that. So you guys can stay tuned. But like, subscribe, guys. Share this with family or anything. You guys know you guys are awesome. If you're still here and you're still learning, geez, you're awesome. You're taking the incentive higher than most people ever will in terms of this. Most people are going to quit. That's just how it is. And this isn't easy. So, you got some real rock skin, some real rock hard skin. And don't think you will not be rewarded for that. Time is on our side. So, alrighty, guys. Thanks so much for timing in today. I really appreciate it. Any questions, concerns you guys have, drop them in the comments. Always here to help. But other than that, guys, have a great week. Stay safe. And I will see you guys on Thursday, if not before. So, alrighty, guys. Thank you.